toying with the facts, by exaggerating things, by doing anything they can to make it look like there's some evidence for Islam.
Okay, let's go back to the beginnings of Muhammad, and he said he received his begins to receive his scripture, the Quran, from God. Can we jump to the wars that he conducted to first to conquer his own, then to go out after that?
Yes. So Muhammad, when he's outnumbered in Mecca, remember, as this program continues, we'll talk about other reasons for the early spread of Islam. When Muhammad was just preaching the oneness of God, and hey, it's okay if you're a Christian, it's okay if you're a Jew, it's okay. Let's all just get along. Peace and tolerance. When he was preaching that message, he won very few converts. He did not have many converts. This is during the Meccan period. It's only after he left Mecca and went to Medina that he started winning a large number of converts, and that's because his method changed to one of war and capturing war booty and treasure and so on. So after Muhammad left Mecca and went to Medina, keep in mind, Muhammad had a chance. When he left Mecca and went to Medina, Muhammad had the opportunity to live in peace. The Meccans didn't care anymore. They didn't want him standing outside the Kaaba and condemning their religion. Once he was gone, fine, he's gone. We're through with him. We don't have to worry about Muhammad anymore. Wrong. Wrong. This is Muhammad we're talking about. Muhammad, from Medina, now that he had some allies, some people who promised to protect him, Muhammad starts launching caravan raids. He starts attacking their caravans. And I don't know if you understand how important the caravan trade was to the people of Mecca. Mecca only had two main sources of income. One, it was a religious center. People would come to the city to bow down and worship at the Kaaba. That was a pagan religious center. And think about that, because that's you Muslims bow down to the same place today. But it was a pagan religious center. That was one of their main sources of income. The other source of income was the caravan trade. So think about this. When Muhammad is there condemning their religious beliefs, he's a threat to one of their sources of income, namely the religious source of income. And now that he was gone, he starts attacking their other source of income, the caravan trade. Now, this is very important because some people would give everything they had, put it into a caravan, hoping that the caravan trader would go and be able to get something in return, and that they would be able to make a profit. If the caravan goes out, if you give everything you have, and that caravan goes out and Muhammad attacks it and takes everything, you starve to death. This was the beginning of terrorism in Islam. You're threatening people's livelihood. You're threatening their ability to survive. They don't know if they're safe. They don't know if they're going to survive the year, because if Muhammad succeeds and takes that caravan, they might not even be able to make it through the summer or through the winter.
In that era, when he begins to do that, he was wanting to impose a new religion, or he didn't think about a religion at the time, or he just wanted to be a powerful guy in the area?
It seems he just wanted to support the religion. He wanted to support the religion, he was very angry at people for not accepting Islam. He was very angry at them for persecuting the Muslims, and he wanted to, it sounds like revenge. It sounds like revenge. I'm going to get back at you. But it was also a source of income. So Muhammad attacks 7 times. Muhammad goes after the Meccan caravans 7 times, and the Meccans don't do anything in response.
Can we take a call before we continue?
Oh, sure. Let's go ahead.
Ibrahim, good afternoon, Ibrahim. You're on the air.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I just want to comment on a few things, if you allow me. Now, you make mention of the fact that female infanticide, the Quran or Islam does not refer to numbers or to the extent of, but simply makes note of the fact that female infanticide was a practice to be condemned in pagan Meccan society. So it's a misconception that you're promoting that the Quran or Muhammad, peace be upon him, spoke of large numbers of babies.
No. Wait, just to clarify, I never said that. I said that Muslims today come to me and say that this was a widespread practice. I've never said, and go back and watch the recording, this will be posted, watch the recording, I never said the Quran says this. So keep the facts straight, and you're accusing me of misrepresentation, but you just committed misrepresentation. I said Muslims today use this as an argument. If you go to a book defending Islam, you'll see, oh, this happened all the time and Muhammad ended this horrible practice. I'm saying that that claim is false. I said that there was a degree of truth in the claim that some did practice this and that Muhammad said to stop it. That's what I said, so just keep the facts straight and go ahead.
The point to note here is that authentic Islamic sources make note of the practice, not the number. And that is what is to be condemned. So
I didn't say anything about the Muslim sources saying anything about numbers. Go ahead.
Well, and the next point I would like to refer to is you mentioned that Muhammad was allowed to preach and condemn his society. And there was no retributions.
I did not say that. Notice, everything this man has said so far has been a misrepresentation. I said that there was persecution. I said that he left because of persecution. My claim was that the persecution was nothing compared to how Muslims would act when they were in charge. So the claim, yes, there was persecution. Yes, they did spit on Muhammad. Yes, there were even apparently a couple of deaths as a result of the persecution. What I claimed was, don't ever lose sight of the fact that Muhammad preached in Mecca openly for 10 years and he survived it. He survived it and his community survived it. 10 years. Would I survive if I went to Mecca and had a community of around 100 people and we stood outside the Kaaba condemning the religious beliefs of the Muslims who are there today? Would I last 10 years? I would not last 10 minutes. I'd be killed. The point here is Muslims are quick to say, look at how intolerant the pagans were. They spit on Muhammad. You consider that intolerant, that he was there for 10 years condemning their beliefs, calling their gods false, and he survived for 10 years? And you think that, if you think that's bad persecution, what do you say about Islam? When Islam just says, kill them if they're criticizing Islam. That's far more intolerant. So the only point here was, Muslims, be consistent. If you're going to say, shame on those Meccans for their intolerance, shame on those pagans for their intolerance, all the more you should say, shame on Muhammad. He was far, far, far more violent and intolerant. But go ahead.
Read all early Islamic scholarly sources. They will tell you that in the early years of Islam and the Muslim and the Prophet and his followers were so persecuted that they could not announce their Islam. They, in fact, preached Islam in secrecy because they were being persecuted. It is only after the conversion of one of the famous companions of the Prophet, peace be upon him, that the Muslims went out to the Kaaba in open because he was a very strong individual. But the point is that the early history of Islam was a history of them being persecuted by the powerful Meccan aristocracy.
Let's review what I said here, because I don't understand where you're disagreeing with me. I said that the Muslim community was persecuted. That's a fact. I'm not denying that. But when you say it was so persecuted, did Muhammad survive the entire 10 years? Yes. Did the incredibly vast majority of his followers survived that 10 years? Yes. Show me more than 2 deaths. Show me more than 2 deaths that resulted from this massive persecution that you keep referring to. I didn't deny persecution. I said the persecution was minor compared to how Muslims would treat unbelievers. And keep in mind, Muhammad comes back just 10 years later, conquers Mecca. How do the Muslims treat it? Read Surah 9:5. Kill the unbelievers, kill the pagans wherever you find them. So when Muhammad is there, he survives 10 years, he's fine, he gets spit on, and Muslims say, oh no, Muhammad got spit on, how horrible it is, he was spit on. True, it's mean to spit on someone, but that's very different from saying, kill anyone who disagrees with us. The only point here, again, because you don't seem to get it, I haven't denied that Muslims were persecuted. I'm saying that it's nothing compared to how Muslims would persecute other people. And again, the point here is, if you're condemning the pagans for the way they treated the Muslims, all the more you should condemn your fellow Muslims, and you should condemn Muhammad, and you should condemn the Quran. But you don't. What you do is you say, shame on anyone who spits on a Muslim. That's horrible. What horrible persecution. But if a Muslim slaughters unbelievers in the name of Islam, that's just fine. That's okay. That's Islam. The inconsistency in Islam is, it boggles the mind. How can you say the Muslim community survived 10 years in Mecca, but there was spitting, so that's horrible persecution, and then turn around and say, as soon as Muhammad conquers Mecca, just a few months later,